It was supposed to be September 20th, but your unprofessionalism and your unprofessional team weren't ready.
I don't need to fight you when you want to fight. I've lost. I don't need you.
No, it's not. It's not when I wanted. It's when everybody wanted. When Turk Sheikh wanted. When the whole team had agreed and arranged for the fight to happen. You know what happens when you have an agreement? Do you know what happens? You know when you sign a contract. Do you know what that is?
I didn't sign a contract.
Do you know what that is?
To fight you on
Do you know what that is?
It would be so hard for that boy to make the weight, and for the sake of whatever money he's getting, let's just hope that he doesn't get hurt and both the fighters can go home safely to their family.
If you feel so strongly about something and it is your life, you're not going to have some fucker just make up bullshit, particularly when you're talking about stopping an ambulance. That is an accusation that could cost someone their life. And if you think that we are the kind of people, and I'm the kind of individual, we are the kind of company that would stop an ambulance from getting a fighter to the hospital, then you are some kind of plump. And it's not just a case of, oh, don't worry about it, it's only a presser, it's safe.
Conor Benn stunned the press conference with this raw admission. Greed took over, his game plan collapsed the moment he landed clean. That's not the voice of a fighter in control, that's doubt creeping in. Chris Eubank Jr. thrives on moments like this, calm under pressure, while Benn shows the cracks.
I was just too greedy in there, looking for the headshots. Game plan went out the window as soon as I hit him in the third round. It was a matter of, it felt like I was always one punch away from closing the show. And I was looking for that one punch, and
there it is. Benn lays it bare. No respect, no friendship, just raw hostility. But let's be real, calling Eubank Jr. scared is laughable. Eubank took him to school the first time, and Benn's words sound more like frustration than truth. The calm, seasoned Eubank doesn't need respect to dominate, just skills, discipline, and the mental edge Benn clearly lacks.
There's been a lot of respect anyway. Personally, I don't like him. He thought I was going to be an easy touch, which is why he fought welterweight. So is there much respect there? Not really, but ultimately, I'm ready to honour my side of the agreement, which was the 2-fight deal, and it's safe to say he's scared. He almost lost. Could have gone either way to a welterweight.
And even the pundits couldn't ignore how big this clash really was as an event. Duke McKenzie hits the nail on the head. The fight wasn't just a clash, it was a spectacle. The atmosphere, the drama, the anticipation, nothing in boxing compared. And that's where Chris Eubank Jr. shines. He thrives on big nights, under bright lights, where Benn's emotions only expose his inexperience.
Like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight, but as an event, you won't get a better event than that, and they'll have to go some actually to surpass that, or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers, people going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better event.
McKenzie nails it. This isn't just a fight, it's generational. Kids, parents, even grandparents are glued in. That's the magic of Eubank Jr., a fighter who commands attention across eras. Benn might bring heart, but it's Chris who carries the pedigree, the composure, and the magnetism that makes this rematch unmissable.
Let's get that right. However, the intrigue that surrounds this fight, I've got young kids in my gym that are going to be tuning into this
Three
fight.
generations are going to watch it, aren't they? That's what's great.
They're so excited about it.
And Eddie Hearn's reaction summed up just how toxic and personal this rivalry has become. Eddie Hearn doesn't mince words. Conor Benn showed zero respect, not for the sport, not for his opponent. That arrogance is dangerous because Eubank Jr. feeds off. He's disciplined, experienced, and knows how to turn Benn's immaturity into his biggest weakness. This rematch isn't just another fight, it's a lesson Benn's about to relearn.
Honestly, this guy has zero respect for anything. And I hope people can see through it. Some will, some won't. But if you can't see them, that's a lot of what happened up there was just wrong. So listen, we go to work and we're in to win the fight. It's going to be different this time.
Eddie Hearn speaks truth here. Benn's raw aggression and heart make him exciting, but excitement doesn't win rematches. Swinging wildly and relying on sheer grit is exactly why Eubank Jr. controlled him before. The difference in this rivalry is tactical IQ, and Chris owns that in spades. Eubank Jr. is the bigger, stronger man, but more importantly, the smarter man. Ben's team knows it. They're practically begging him to think before charging, but Ben's pride doesn't allow him to slow down. He's emotional, reckless, and hungry to prove something. That hunger can turn into desperation against a fighter like Eubank, who waits calmly for mistakes, then punishes them ruthlessly. If Ben doesn't change, it's deja vu incoming. Chris Eubank Jr. dominating while Ben burns himself out chasing glory.
You know, Conor Benn's Conor Benn. But I want him just to be a little bit smarter. We can't, like Nigel said, he's just winging away. And the heart's great, the balls are great, but you can outbox this guy as well. You're going to have to stand and fight because he's going to try and walk you down and be the bigger man. But just be a little bit smart.
Johnny Nelson reckons Eubank Jr. can't improve much, pointing to heavy legs, but that's a shallow read. What Nelson misses is Chris's consistency. He doesn't need drastic improvement because he already fought a smart, composed fight. Ben, on the other hand, must change everything just to survive. Sure, Conor might look sharper second time round, but sharpness won't erase tactical errors and mental lapses. Eubank Jr. thrives in distance fights. He controls tempo, lands precision shots, and forces opponents into mistakes. Ben's improvements might earn him survival, but survival isn't victory. And when you rewatch the first fight, it wasn't Conor pushing Chris into danger, it was Chris dictating the rhythm, forcing Ben to fight out of desperation. A second fight going the distance doesn't change the outcome, it just prolongs Ben's struggle.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
Stephen A. Smith keeps it simple: respect the power. Eubank Jr. carries real strength Ben can't ignore. This isn't about trading wild shots, it's about knowing that Chris can hurt him at any moment. That danger changes the psychology of the fight. Ben can talk tough, claim he'll walk through fire, but when those clean Eubank shots land, reality bites hard. Stephen A's right. If Ben refuses to respect Eubank's power, he'll pay the price. If he does respect it, he becomes tentative, cautious, and loses his aggression. Either way, Chris holds the upper hand. Fans want to see boxing brilliance, not sloppy swings, and Eubank Jr. provides it when the stakes are highest. Power plus composure equals dominance. That's why Smith sees the danger Ben is in.
Powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
And Carl Froch broke it down further, reminding everyone what's really at stake for both men. Carl Froch strips it down perfectly. This isn't just about legacy, it's about pride and money. Ben is obsessed with revenge, desperate to overturn humiliation, but desperation is a dangerous motivator in boxing. Eubank Jr., on the other hand, wants to cement his authority, beat Ben once, then beat him again, leaving no excuses. That's legacy, that's dominance. Froch is right, they're prize fighters, chasing big purses, but for Eubank it's also about silencing the Ben camp permanently. Imagine the statement, "I did it twice, back to back, and proved I'm levels above," that cements him as the smarter, cooler, superior man in the rivalry. For Ben, it's all or nothing. For Chris, it's business as usual, disciplined, calculated, and ruthless.
For me, it's a fight that probably means a lot less for boxing than what it does for the actual fighters. You know, the fighters, for them, there's a lot at stake. Conor Benn wants to overturn the decision. And Chris Eubank wants to cement the decision and say, I've done it twice. Bottom line is, they're making big bunts, aren't they? Big dollar, and they might as well make money. These are prize fighters. We can't begrudge them making money fighting because that's what they do. That's why they get in there.
And here we have it, Conor Benn at his most emotional, saying he just wants to smash Eubank's head in. This isn't tactical talk, it's reckless fury. And that's exactly why Chris Eubank Jr. has the edge. Boxing isn't about blind emotion, it's about composure, intelligence, and strategy. Ben admits his only goal was to hurt Chris, but hurting and beating are two very different things. He may have landed shots, he may have shown heart, but what did it earn him? A loss. Eubank Jr. has already proved he can take Ben's best punches, stay standing, and then impose his own rhythm. The problem for Conor is simple. The more emotional he gets, the easier Chris can exploit him. Every time Ben throws with anger, he leaves gaps, and Eubank Jr. has the skill to punish every single mistake. Fans love emotion, but emotion won't win titles. Intelligence will, and that belongs to Chris.
I guess there's a lot of emotions on the fight. You know, so for me it was like, yeah, you know, going into the fight, that was my aim, was to hurt him.
Right.
And I hurt him. And that was my plan. That's, you know, I'm not going in there to you know, give him a cuddle. And
Adam Booth highlights Ben's balls for hanging in there, but let's not dress it up. Guts don't win you. Fights at the elite level. He talks about legs, power, and size not being imposed. But here's the reality. Eubank Jr. didn't need to be reckless. He controlled the bout with ring IQ, timing, and precision. Conor showing heart is just another way of saying he absorbed punishment without turning the tide. Booth predicts Ben will be better next time, but improvement in spirit isn't the same as improvement in skills. Chris has the tools to adapt and elevate, something Ben hasn't proven. And let's be honest, if Conor couldn't break through the first time, when Eubank supposedly had issues with his legs, what makes anyone think he can do it when Chris is sharp, fit, and focused? That's the harsh truth. Eubank Jr.'s floor is still higher than Ben's ceiling, no matter how much balls he shows.
Anymore, because his legs weren't working. He was throwing a lot of shots, but nothing had any real power or snap because he didn't have it in him. And so he couldn't force his size advantage on Ben.
Tony Bellew delivers the brutal truth. This isn't about stamina or fitness, it's about mentality and experience. And that's exactly where Eubank Jr. towers over Ben. You can be as fit as you want, but when you step into a grueling rematch, it's your head and your composure that get tested. Ben's still inexperienced at this level, still driven more by pride than poise. Bellew's point is clear: a fighter can gas themselves out mentally before they even gas out physically, and that's Ben's biggest weakness. He fights angry, not smart. Chris Eubank Jr., on the other hand, has been in wars, has gone the distance with top names, and knows what it means to control a fight mentally as well as physically. This isn't about lungs, this is about logic, and Chris simply has more of it. Bellew sees it, the fans see it, and deep down, Conor Benn knows it too.
If you're in Paddy's shoes though, you know you've had 2 warnings. Yeah. You need to be careful, don't you?
You do.
Treading a fine line.
You do, but it's not the head then that comes in. So he's on one final warning for the head, but getting into an exchange in the final punch of the round, he's trying to win the round.
Yeah, impress the judges at the end of the round.
You know,
Barry Jones doesn't sugarcoat it. This rematch is going to be brutal, and it could harm Ben more than it helps him. The first fight drained him, exposed him, and left question marks. The second, it promises to do the same. Unless Ben lands some freak punch early, he's staring down another long, punishing night. And when Jones calls Eubank the favorite again, it's not bias, it's fact. Chris has already proven his ability to control Conor over rounds, to sap the fight out of him slowly. That's why this isn't a 50-50 bout. It's a repeat waiting to happen. The risk for Ben is massive. Another loss doesn't just dent his record, it shatters his aura, his momentum, and his mental strength. For Eubank, it's an opportunity to close the book for good. Jones is right, Ben may have the heart, but Eubank has the tools, and that makes all the difference.
So this fight can only harm him. Because that was a hard fight, the first one. This one will be another hard fight, whoever wins, unless there's a real freak occurrence, not freak occurrence, unless someone gets caught with the shot really early, then it's going to be a hard night. Which you still have to make Eubank the favourite again, like I did the first time. I mean, so I don't know.
This rematch isn't just another fight, it's pride, legacy, and redemption on the line. For Conor Benn, it's about rewriting humiliation, proving he's more than just raw emotion. But let's be real, every word from his camp screams desperation. He talks of smashing heads, of revenge, but those are the words of a man chasing ghosts. Chris Eubank Jr., on the other hand, walks in calm, composed, a fighter who already solved the Ben puzzle once and is ready to do it again. If Ben loses here, his career takes a crushing blow. If Eubank wins, he cements himself as the smarter, superior man in this rivalry forever. The question is simple: are you backing Chris Eubank Jr. to dominate again, or do you believe Conor Benn can shock the world? Drop your thoughts below.